the size and body, like build of the not tortilla, the tamale lady. That seems like that could be who it is.
This morning I met a homeless kid, strung out on meth. We got to talking, and I asked if he wanted a reading. He'd lost most of his family. His mom and his dad came through. He cried. I cried. I gave him my jacket, and he hugged me, still sobbing. He would hitchhike to a rehab center in a neighboring town and get clean. He'd been at this particular rehab before, but this time he said it'll stick. I think it will. I believe that on our life path, we're pushed and pulled to be at certain places at certain times, so we can meet someone, have an experience, or play a role for someone else. I think that's what happened this morning. We all have the power to affect someone's life on a deep level. The hardest part is getting out of our comfort zone. We have to be vulnerable to being rejected or hurt or made to feel foolish. But if we make a difference, it's worth it. I also have to point out that while I say such wonderful, loving things, I sometimes act as a hypocrite, doing the easy, selfish, and reactive low vibration behavior. And I'm not using this as an excuse, but to point out that we're all just people trying to get along in this world. So don't beat yourself up about missed opportunities or doing the wrong thing. Just try to be better next time. Okay, enough of that. Where am I? I'm at Tonto National Monument, and I'm picking up on spirits. But with my guerrilla-style filming, sometimes I'm unable to get the footage I want. I roll into these locations without plans, preparation, or permission to film. It's all informal or casual, to throw some branding in there. This season of Casual Psychic wasn't even planned. I thought I'd just go do my ride, do what I usually do, but this time try filming it. I figured I'd just show up with a camera, tune into the spirits, and see what happens. It was an experiment that's mostly worked. I've had whole sites to myself where I could concentrate and film without interference. And then there are places or days like this where I don't get privacy, space, and filming just doesn't happen. Here at Tonto, while I wasn't able to tune in on camera, I did pick up a tiny bit of EVP chatter, hidden in some atrociously windy audio.
Okay, here's the situation for this place, for Tonto. So I went up there and I was tuning in. Somebody was calling me little brother again, and they're calling me little brother again. So it's the same people from Chaco Canyon. It's one of the same people. There's a whole bunch of like the "Hey Brett" kind of things. Just like trying to get my attention. One scene I saw was like somebody would move in and decide that it wasn't right, and so they would destroy a wall and remake it like slightly larger or slightly smaller or whatever. It was constantly being rebuilt that way. Well, not constantly, but like every generation might change one little aspect of it. Lots of images of butterflies. That's all I got.
Then this afternoon, I hit Jerome Museum to talk with spirits. Again, with this kind of guerrilla filming, with uncontrolled spaces and access, I don't get the footage or audio I want. There's definitely a curious spirit in here. I keep catching glimpses of her, and it feels like a game of hide and go seek. While I edit, I notice these insects zipping around, but this one is perplexing. It's there for a few frames, then gone. Weird. What do you think?
I heard you make a loud noise in there when I came up. I want you to come up and talk. Who's the short woman that's here? Yeah, I've got music going on in my head. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. Nice, thank you. All right, so I'm in the Douglas mansion. There are way too many people in there, all sorts of video things going on, all sorts of things just happening. You know, I'm not picking up too much, but I kept seeing this really short, 4.5 foot woman in like some sort of bonnet or like a scarf on her head. Something colorful, red was one of the colors. I'm guessing she was older. I got the name. And this was in the library area. I felt her, and then in the main area where the billiards room, I kept seeing her in the hallway. So that is something interesting. While I was looking at the photos, trying to find her, or trying to find the name, I felt a little touch on my elbow. I felt a touch on my chin. That was when looking at the tamale lady. That could be who I saw, and I might have the name wrong. But the name was the thing that came into my mind. The size and body, like build of the the tamale lady. That seems like that could be who it is. Right here at this, oh, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, at this place, this little spot, there's the little buggy in the truck. As I walked up, there was a loud knock inside the garage. So I was guessing somebody wanted my attention. If they do, hopefully they're talking on here, because I'm not really getting anything else. It's my phone again. Yeah, mechanic, he worked on this stuff. worked on all of the stuff. He was involved in the mines too. Sounds like an Italian name. A small touch on my hand. He was a good guy. See him with the newsboy cap, you know, the thing of oil. Yeah, he'd be all over the place working on this stuff. Tell me something really neat about this place. They'd have parties. How often? Seasonal. All right, I gotta get out of here because the place is closing. Thank you for meeting with me, and what's it? Anyway, thank you.
On the way out of town, I'm caught in a surprise thunderstorm. It's a surprise to me, but my guides knew all about it. That's why they rushed me out of town to my next destination. So instead of being 20 miles down a desert road in flash flood conditions, I arrive at a motel as streets begin to flood. A few minutes later, and I would have been in trouble. Thanks, team. Please subscribe, like, and comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts on whether that was an insect or something else. And thanks for watching.